still remember that day. The day I left the house for good, my heart pounding with a mixture of rage, heartbreak, and an unshakable resolve. It was a cold, gray morning, and as I packed my battered bag, I heard my father's voice echoing from the porch, sharp and dismissive. "You're wasting your life on that stupid gadget. You're an embarrassment to this family." The words hit me like a punch, but I didn't turn back. I couldn't. See, I'd been dismissed, discredited, and mocked for suggesting that nonverbal autistic children held an untapped potential, a silent world of communication waiting to be unlocked. My research team had publicly ridiculed me, calling my ideas toys for the naive and academic folly. It was humiliating, especially knowing my work could help children who had been silenced their entire lives. But instead of folding under the weight of their scorn, I chose to dive into the overlooked, ridiculed field of haptic technology, touch-based systems that could give voice to the voiceless. The early days were brutal. I was mocked by peers, dismissed by investors, and ridiculed by family who insisted I was chasing pipe dreams. My father's words haunted me. "You're never going to amount to anything, wasting your time on those gadgets." But I kept going. I poured everything I had into creating wearable devices, small, intuitive, and capable of translating subtle tactile cues into meaningful communication. Years turned into relentless months of failure, frustration, and doubt. But I refused to stop. Every setback became fuel. I studied the nuances of touch, refined my prototypes, and listened to the silent voices of the children who needed help. I knew deep down that I was onto something revolutionary. And then, one breakthrough changed everything. Our wearable devices, small gloves, subtle wristbands, began to decipher nonverbal cues with unprecedented accuracy. It was as if I'd finally cracked the code of silent communication. The first children who used our technology started to speak, their worlds opening up in ways that once seemed impossible. We weren't just creating gadgets. We were rewriting destinies. The media caught wind of it. Investors poured in. Our technology scaled rapidly. We built ecosystems, schools, clinics, community centers, transforming barren lands of silence into vibrant fields of expression. I watched as children who had once been trapped in their own worlds began to tell their stories, to laugh, to connect, to live. But the greatest moment was yet to come. After years of relentless work and sacrifice, I returned home, my heart pounding with a mixture of pride and nervous anticipation. I knew my family still doubted me, still remembered the mocking words, still saw me as that childhood dreamer who would never succeed. I wanted them to see what I'd become, what I'd built. I arrived unannounced at our family farm, now a thriving ecosystem of greenery, life, and hope. The land had been barren when I left, just dust and memories of failed crops and broken promises. But over the years, I'd poured my energy into restoring it, using our own technology to monitor soil health, optimize water use, and foster biodiversity. Slowly, the land responded. Green shoots pushed through cracked earth. Birds returned, singing in the dawn. Then I gathered my family, my father, mother, siblings, and led them to the heart of the farm. I activated a device on my wrist, a sleek, unobtrusive sensor that I'd designed to help nonverbal individuals communicate. I pressed a button, and in a clear voice, I began to speak through it. "Mom, Dad, I want you to see what your doubts couldn't kill." The device translated my gestures and touch into words, projecting them in the air. I spoke about the farm, the ecosystems restored, the lives changed by our technology. As the words flowed, my family watched in stunned silence. Then, the moment arrived. I turned toward a young girl, Sarah, who had been nonverbal all her life. She stepped forward, clutching a small plant she had nurtured. I gently touched her hand, and the device translated her silent gesture into words. Tears welled in my parents' eyes. My father, who once sneered at my toy tinkering, looked at me with a mixture of awe and remorse. My mother's hand trembled as she reached out and took my hand. No words were needed. The look in her eyes said everything. I had silenced their doubts, not with words, but with the undeniable proof of what I had become. The scene was powerful, proof that persistence, belief, and unwavering commitment could turn mockery into marvels. I realized then that their ridicule had been born of fear, of misunderstanding, of a lack of vision, and I had chosen to see beyond that. In that moment, I understood a universal truth: the greatest failures often precede the greatest triumphs. Whether of a child or a dreamer, deserve to be heard. That perseverance can transform barren lands into thriving ecosystems, and scorn into admiration. Today, I stand proud, not just as a pioneer of assistive communication technology, but as a testament to resilience. My family's doubts no longer echo in my ears. Instead, I carry their lessons. That true success isn't measured by approval, but by the courage to chase what others deem. And as I look at the thriving land, the smiling faces of children, and the grateful voices of those who once could only communicate through touch, I know I've proven that even in the face of disbelief, hope and persistence can rewrite destinies. Because the real victory isn't just building devices or restoring land. It's showing the world and ourselves that no dream is too ridiculous if it's rooted in compassion, effort, and unwavering belief. And that in the end, the silence can be broken, the doubters silenced, and the impossible achieved. And I am just getting started.